Hi guys, Rufai, the fearless journalist, has come out to narrate the cause of insecurity and a lot of agitation in our country. Guys, Rufai is a journalist that speaks for the betterment of this country. Watch this video, guys, and hear what he said, and don't forget to share your thought with us.
And a lot has to be said as regards insecurity in Nigeria. We entered this new wave a couple of years ago when somebody was killed in Borno. And the killing of this man led to a great level of insurgency. But let's dial back to the 80s. Something happened in the 80s when a riot was started by somebody of Cameroonian extraction, Oseni riots. And after quelling those riots, there was a panel of inquiry set up in the 80s. And that panel of inquiry did say that if we do not stem the tide of poverty in the 80s in the north, that is going to snowball into something bigger. But like we always do in Nigeria, we push the report of that panel of inquiry aside, since we had generals that could come in there and defeat the enemy. Our former president played a major role then. And we just only thought that the way to solve the problem of insecurity was to use force. Then we had the capacity of force because the adversary were pretty much carrying bows and arrows. But that poverty over the years that went unabated, and the bigger political class kept on getting richer at the expense of the poor over the years, prepared a fertile ground for those that wanted to destabilize Nigeria to harvest people to fight for them. And the fertile ground is what you see in banditry, insurgency, and all sorts of crime and criminality. Also, the poverty in other parts of the country has prepared a fertile ground, and the injustices done. And what we are just hoping that the military will do is they will solve hitherto problems that have been there for so many years. Our insecurity challenge is a collective problem to solve. The military can only provide force. But does force completely eradicate the root cause of the problem? It doesn't. And that's why once we say we've decimated a particular group, another one springs up. A couple of years ago, we're not talking about bandits. Today, they are the order of the day. Now, kidnapping has been added to the fray. Now, nationalist movements have sprung up because of the consistent injustices done across the land. And every region had their fair share. We all remember the case of Igboho. So, how do we start to solve the problem? Number one will be about rejigging the security architecture. The military generals can claim victories. Yes, they have done their bit. But have we solved the problem? No. Because when you look at the number of people that have died in a couple of months, it's shocking across the country. So solutions. Number one, rejig security architecture, which is quite a very nebulous word. Because for me, the shocking thing about saying rejigging security architecture is the nebulousness of that word itself. But no matter how nebulous it is, we'll have to find a strategy that works. Secondly, looking at the economic outcomes for a lot of people. Thirdly, bringing fairness and justice back to the country. Because it is fairness and justice that can truly quell those agitations. And it goes back to the talk about Nnamdi Kanu. And other people that feel disgruntled in this country. We should always ask, why is it that we have an easy ground for people that feel disgruntled to have people to join them? Have we been fair to ourselves in our union? And it's not today we've been having the problems. Did we ever introspect to ask what made a certain Isaac Adakaboro carry arms against the nation of Nigeria? So until we start to solve the problem of injustices, then the military will just keep punching and fighting with force as much as possible. They'll keep buying armory, pounding. But there is a lack of love in the land. And a land where there's lack of love, the only stream that flows are the streams of blood. We need to bring unity back to our land. And I think that's the deeper issue on the table. We need to have milk and honey flow in Nigeria, no longer the rivers of blood.